In this video, we're going to be going over the features inside the brain. So to start us off, we have the massa intermedia, which is basically right here in the center of the brain, the massa intermedia. We're going to try and look at both of these brains. Perfect. Massa intermedia here and here. We have the superior and inferior colliculus. So superior colliculus, inferior colliculus, same here. Superior colliculus, inferior colliculus here. We have the septum pellucidum, which is covering the lateral ventricle. So the septum pellucidum is this little sheet right here. Inside is the lateral ventricle. So we have the lateral ventricle in here. The septum pellucidum would be covering it. We have the anterior and posterior commissure. So the anterior commissure is right here, and the posterior commissure is right here. So good way to remember that. Anterior commissure is in front of the massa intermedia, and posterior commissure is behind it under the pineal gland. So we have the pineal gland here, massa intermedia, anterior commissure, posterior commissure. We have the olfactory bulbs. You can see it right here. It's usually more up against the brain. The olfactory bulb would be right here, but this one got pretty torn up. The optic chiasma is right here. And between the optic chiasma and the mammillary body, so we have optic chiasma, mammillary body, we have the tuber cinereum. So tuber cinereum right here, optic chiasma, mammillary body, optic chiasma, tuber cinereum, mammillary body right there. We have the splenium, is this top area right here and right here. Remember, septum pellucidum is right here. This bottom area is known as the fornix, here and here. And then the genu is this more frontwards position. Genu here and here. We also have the third ventricle. So the third ventricle is kind of below the massa intermedia, between the optic chiasma and the massa intermedia. So it would be right here is where you would find the third ventricle, here and here. And then we also have the cerebellum. The cerebellum is this big thing right here. The arbor vitae is the little branches. It looks like a tree branch. All these little branches are the arbor vitae. And the fourth ventricle is under the cerebellum. So it would be right here. And if you're looking in this one, right there is the fourth ventricle. We have the spinal cord right here and here. The pons would be this little bump here and right here. And then the medulla oblongata is kind of in between those two. We also have the infundibulum, which is what is connecting the hypophysis to the brain. So this is the hypophysis. The infundibulum is right here connecting it. And then we also have the cerebral aqueduct and lamina quadrigemina. So the lamina quadrigemina is right here, just below the superior and inferior colliculus. So here's the lamina quadrigemina, and the cerebral aqueduct is the tiny little opening right there. So cerebral aqueduct and lamina quadrigemina right here. I'm just taking one more quick look at this list, but that is it, I believe. Oh, one more thing. So just to go over again, splenius, septum pellucidum, lateral ventricle, fornix, genu, and the trunk would be this little area right here. And that is everything you need to know for the inside of the brain.